Peter Jukes is next, and he enlisted at the age of 18, can you imagine, 18-year-olds, in 1942. He was posted to the Navy Combined Operations Unit. His task was to operate the large tank landing craft. He was stationed near Portland and did training for taking the American Sherman tanks and their crews. And his ship could take eight large tanks. And the thing about the British were they made these very silly little light tanks, and they were not a match for the German Tigers. And so every time one of our tanks came across a Tiger, it would always be, and our shells couldn't penetrate a Tiger. And so the Americans built a large tank called a Sherman tank, and it really was the saviour for us. And that's what he took over. And Sherman tanks were quite big. They were the only ones that could match a Tiger, and they were also used at the Battle of Alabama for the first time. On D-Day, he went in with the Americans on Utah Beach, which is the second of the American beaches. After a number of trips, he came back to Portland and supported the Canadians at the Gold Beach head. After 1 month going backwards and forwards, he was then involved in supplying the forward troops and the battles that followed with ammunition and other supplies, which lasted for about 8 months. So the whole, D-Day thing went on, and the beachheads were still being used to supply, and he had to do that. He was involved in disposing of live ammunition taken off the battlefields. People don't think about that. That's a kind of aftermath thing. Very dangerous thing to do. Take them in the boats, take them out to sea and explode them. There was always danger in the channel from German E-boats because his own ship did not have adequate guns on board to fight them off. So they were a bit of a sitting target, and the German E-boats, which were small, fast boats, would come out of the channel ports and pick them off. In January 1945, he was involved in the cutting up of the Mulberry Harbours. Later in 1945, he volunteered to help with the Japanese War, which was still going on, of course, and a very large landing craft which were being designed for the invasion of Japan. Fortunately, that didn't have to happen because of the atomic bomb. So he got as far as Singapore, and then it stopped, and after a while he was demobbed from there. Peter, is there anything you'd like to add?
You've done most of it, I think. Very, very good.
Very quick run through.
That's very good.
Okay, thank you. So let's give it a back.
On the 6th of June 2014, for the 70th anniversary of the D-Day, on the beach of Ouistreham in Normandy, French President François Hollande sent a strong message of gratitude to the Allied soldiers and particularly to the British. Today, it's a true honor for me to be here and echo that message. Gentlemen, you are the witnesses to a history you wrote on our soil, a history that shaped your identity, our identity, and those of Britain and France. Not only am I pleased to meet you and honored by your presence, I wanted to say what a great example you represent for me, for young people, for our respective countries, and for Europe. Today, you are made Chevalier de la Légion d'honneur, Knight of the Legion of Honor. You are heroes of the Second World War, modern knights we honor. Today, we also remember your friends, those who did not make it out. Through you and through this ceremony, we honor their sacrifice and their courage. It is through the courage of men like yourself, British veterans, that our parents across the channel were able to regain their freedom. On a personal note, my mother told me many times the story of how she knew that D-Day had happened, and the relief she felt when eventually she found out it succeeded. So, on behalf of the French Republic and on behalf of our parents, I would like to say a warm thank you. Merci. Au nom du président de la République française, nous vous faisons chevalier de la Légion d'honneur.